how much advertising do you do? Because I want a lot of advertising. So that's a legitimate question. I think a lot of people are talking about value propositions, but there's never going to be a time that an agent or a seller is only going to focus on the marketing that you do. That's just part of your value proposition. Okay. So through the questioning, you got to modify this, right? So first of all, I would rephrase this as a question. So, how much advertising do I do? Well, yeah, we want to make sure that the agent that we choose with, we want to know what kind of marketing they do. Okay, that's fair. So Mr. and Miss Seller, that's a really great question. In fact, most homeowners want to work with an agent who provides maximum exposure to their property so they can sell their home quickly and for top dollar. Is that true for you as well? So look what I did there, guys. I did a level shift. I use level shifts a lot, right? And what you'll find, and for those of you that hit these trainings a lot, what you'll find is that the level shifts that I do always kind of start out the same. And it goes, that's a really great question. In fact, most homeowners want to X. They want to sell their home. They want the maximum exposure so they can sell their home quickly and for top dollar, right? So fill in the blank, right? They want to do this so that they can do this, right? I don't do just half of that, right? So now, if you don't mind me asking, there's the softener. What type of marketing are you looking for? What type of marketing would you expect from the agent that you choose? Right? A lot of what would happen right there is that most salespeople will see this as a cue to start throwing up their talk track, right? They'll start telling and get away from selling, right? That's where that whole saying came from. Telling is not selling. How much advertising? I do a lot of advertising. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. And they'll probably be on the phone with that, okay? Without even knowing what it is that the homeowner is looking for, right? I can promise you they're not looking just for advertising. This might be an expired. This might be a for sale by owner. This might be, most homeowners have no idea how to sell a house. So they're just wondering. Now, it's a legitimate question. It's something that you have to answer, but that's not the reason why they're going to list the home with you. If that was the case, they would just go and hire an ad agency just to do it for them and not pay a percentage of the price. Some of them might try to do that, but statistically, mathematically, it never works out for them, right? So there's something else behind it. Well, I'm looking for somebody to do, more digital stuff, right? So here's the thing. What would happen if they ask you this question and you start throwing up all the traditional marketing you do when really what they wanted to do is hear your digital strategy, right? You just wasted time. You just talked them out of choosing you because you went down the wrong path because you didn't ask a more clarifying question, right? Where we're looking for something, now guys, I don't know if you know this, but 98% of consumers use the internet when they're looking to buy something, when they're looking to transact. So that is a space that should be important to everybody. And that is a space where you should really have in your business. If you don't already have a digital strategy in your business, you need to implement one because it's kind of a big deal. It's a big deal in 2020, and in 2025, it's going to be a bigger deal. And in 2030, it's going to even be a more bigger deal. So it really kind of depends on how long are you going to be in this business, because the way that you have to adjust, you always have to adjust your business at least annually for the given environment. Everybody should be adjusting their business for the uncertainty of next year. That's what we're doing. So if you don't mind me asking, what type of marketing are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for someone who actually knows what they're doing with digital. Oh, you're looking for someone who's looking to do digital. If you don't mind me asking again, does that mean that you've worked with somebody that didn't have any experience? Yeah, we worked with an agent before. He said that he'd do this, that, and the other, and we didn't get any showings or anything like that. Oh, okay. So you worked with another agent. You didn't like the way that they're doing that. So your goal is to find an agent who actually has that strategy. Yeah, it is. Okay. So great. Look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a 22-point plan that I use to get homes sold. Now, what I'd like to see is would you be open to meeting with me sometime this week for me to share it with you? Right. So I went for a very soft close. I totally get it that advertising is really important to you. One of the things that I do to get home sold is that I have a 22-point plan that I call the Brett's Awesome Home Selling Plan. I've used it for years. I've sold thousands of homes with it. Would you be open to sitting down with me for 20 or 30 minutes this week at your home for me to go over it with you? And then stop talking, because the next person who talks is going to lose. Well, can you just share it with me on the phone? Can I share it with you on the phone? Yeah, I don't see any reason why you'd need to come out here and talk about it. Can you just tell me what it is you do? Not really. That's a great question, but not really. It's not one of the things that can be properly explained over the phone. I mean, it's a 22-point plan that I've revised over, 2 decades of selling. So, it would be easier for me to make sure to convey the value to you and to share with you how this can help you sell your home for the most money in the quickest amount of time. And all it would be is a 20, 30-minute conversation. So, would you be open to just sitting down for 20 or 30 minutes at your home sometime this week at your convenience to go over this real quick? Notice how I just repeated the question. The reason why I do that, and some of you may have experienced that with me, is you might come up with an objection. I'll rebuttal the objection, and then I'll just slightly reframe my secondary question, right? So I asked him the first time is, look, I have a 22-point plan of what I use to get home sold. Would you be open to meeting with me sometime this week to go over it, right? Very general. Now he said that, can you just tell me on the phone? Well, not really. And the reason why is because it's a 22-point plan that I've used to literally thousands of homes. I've devised it over a few decades, and I don't think it's going to be one of those things that's going to be properly conveyed over the phone. I've tried it before, failed miserably. So would you be open at your convenience to just meet for 20 or 30 minutes at your home? I'd like to take a look at your home. I'd be happy to give you my opinion on value, but in addition, share with you exactly what it is that I do to get homes sold. Would you be able to just, do that sometime this week? I call that going 2 levels down, right? You hear people say dig deeper, right? Objections that you typically get are typically surface level, right? And they're very general objections. So you have to ask questions to dig a little bit deeper, so you're getting a little bit more detail, so you're getting a little bit more information, more of the true cause of the true source of the objection. And then going a little bit deeper is you can't be. So when I rebuttal, if I go 2 levels deep, I'm giving a general rebuttal and then going for an ask. If they give me another objection on the same subject, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to provide a little bit more information, and then I'm going to do the same closing. So that's what I did, right? So I have a 22-point plan that I've used to get homes sold. Would you be open to meeting with me sometime this week to go over it? Well, I don't really have time this week. Can we just do it on the phone? Can you just share it with me? Can you email it with me? Not really. I mean, this is a plan that I've devised over 2 decades. I've literally sold thousands of homes with this plan. And if your goal is to sell your home for the most money in the quickest amount of time, is it something that you would be willing to invest just 20 or 30 minutes at your home to go over? Would you be able to do something like that this week? Not this week. Okay. What about next week? Do you have some time next week? No, I don't have a whole lot of time next week, right? So I'm just going down the rabbit hole with this, like a realistic scenario. Can you just email me the information? Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that I do is before I meet with anyone, I always send them out what's called a pre-meeting packet that goes over my 22-point awesome plan. It does a market analysis on your property, share with you my opinion of your value and what you would net on it, and it shares with you my experience and my credentials. So I send that out to anyone. Can we do this? This might be a happy medium. Can we set up a time tentatively, ideally sometime this week, perhaps early next week? Can we set up a time tentatively? If something comes up that you can't do it, then of course we can reschedule. But in that interim, I'm going to get you out my pre-meeting packet that's going to have all this awesome information into it that you can review so that we can actually have a great conversation. Is that something that you'd be willing to do? Yeah, okay, I'd be willing to do that. Right? So it's just a process of having a conversation. That's all it is. And what most people really need to think about is you need to think about already being in rapport with someone, and you need to think about what kind of conversation you would have with a friend or a relative that you already have a relationship with, that you already have rapport with, that you're not afraid of what their reaction is going to be, right? You're not afraid that you're not going to do this. So that's how I would handle how much advertising do you do, because I want a lot of advertising.